Welcome to Ziatora. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We've got 2 lands in the hand. We've got Faithless Looting, which is always nice. And let's... Alright, opponent's on the play. I was worried about clicking on a land and it making the land drop for us. But yes, this is a wonderful key opening hand. We've got some board wipe and Toxic Deluge. We've got some board protection and Heroic Intervention. We have a little bit of a build your own creature, a Nighthawk Scavenger. Got some more extra creatures to make with Consuming Blob. And yeah, I like this. We'll keep on this one. But yes, welcome to Ziatora. Hopefully we're going to have some fun today with some odd power and toughness. Let's see what we can kind of come up with. So we'll see what we draw into for the turn. But at the very least, we've got Badlands into Faithless Looting for the turn. So let's go and go Badlands. Let's go Faithless Looting, tapping down for red. And there we go. We hit a couple more lands. Let's go ahead and drop. I think at this point what we'll probably do is we'll drop Terravor. Yeah, we'll drop Terravor, and we're playing against not mono green, because Esika is 5 color. Alright, so that is 5 color. So we still able to hold on to Heroic Intervention. I guess we could get rid of Nighthawk if we wanted to, or we can just dump a basic, and that'll be 1, 2, 3. Because we still have Faithless Looting out of the graveyard if we wanted to try to hit a few more lands, but I like holding on to our lands. So yeah, let's get rid of Terravor and Nighthawk. I'm not super wild about getting rid of those two, but I also want to make sure that... we can make our land drops. If we can get Consuming Blob to stick, and we get those token going, then we'll be in a very good spot with Ziatora. So, but yes, let's go and cover our commanders. We're playing Ziatora. Flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Ziatora deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. Playing against Esika, God of the Tree. Vigilance, tap, add 1 mana of any color. Other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance and tap, add 1 mana of any color. Then at the beginning on the with the Prismatic Bridge backside, at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or a planeswalker card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So we'll see what else they have for it and see what else they've got. There we go. We're going to lead off with the Misty. And we'll jump into the ad spot stuff on our turn once we get that going. But yeah, next turn, probably looking at Proving Ground, having that come into play tap. Then we'll start making our land drops and hopefully get down Consuming Blob and get that going. And actually, if they're going to take a minute on this one, we'll go and jump into it. So let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. MTGOTraders, of course, if you want to play Magic Online. Inkgaming.com/Jolt for 10% off your order. Last but not least, I started a Patreon if you'd like to directly support this content like this. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time. So let's drop in Proving Ground as proof that it is free time. So anything else, we will pass it over to our opponent. Now, what are we doing with Ziatora? So I'd like to give a shout out to Casey. Casey sent me their list, and I gave it a look, and so I did borrow some stuff from their list. And so I was happy to see that. But as far as this actual build of this deck, we've got some interesting stuff in here. And I know that's very basic. Let's go ahead and actually, yeah, I like Read the Bones on this one. So we'll go Swamp. And let's go Read the Bones. We're going to get some Scry and some Scurry going. Tap down for that. And see what we can draw into. We do have Gravitic Punch, which is going to work out hopefully with Ziatora too. So let's get Read the Bones going. And that's going to be, Sylvan Library and then Hero's Downfall. I'm actually A-okay with both of these. So let's put Hero's Downfall on top of the library, Sylvan Library on top, and we draw into both of those, and then anything else, we are going to pass the turn over there. But yeah, so what we're trying to do on this is, with the Ziatora build, at its core, it's kind of your standard Jund, good stuff deck. Kind of, not necessarily control, but, we've got Abrupt Decays in here, or maybe not Abrupt Decay, but Assassin's Trophy, Terminate, all the good Jund removal, I should say. We have that in here. And board wipe, board control, different things like that. Now, as far as the creatures, where are we getting these high-powered creatures? We are running a lot of variable creatures. So we have stuff like Terravor, Nighthawk Scavenger. They're in the graveyard right now, so they're not really providing a lot of use to us right now. But we've got redundancy in that. That's also why we're running Consuming Blob. So, as the game goes on, do we want to pay 2 right now? Because what are we doing? So we're going to drop in Sylvan Library, probably. We could go Chromatic Lantern, land drop, and drop in Sylvan Library, and then give them a treasure token. I think I want to do that. Yeah, if we get Sylvan Library going to get Smothering Tithe, that's going to be a lot of mana. Do we want to try to play safe around Smothering Tithe? Yeah, I think we give them a treasure token. Yeah, I think we give them a treasure token right now. Unfortunately, not super wild about that, but I like being able to get down a little bit of extra mana. So let's go for Wooded Foothills. Let's go for Chromatic Lantern. Get down Chromatic Lantern. Let's go Wooded Foothills, and actually, we can just tap down Wooded Foothills for green, tap down Chromatic Lantern, get down Sylvan Library, and then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So yeah, we'll try to fight around the Smothering Tithe next turn. We are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then potentially 6 with the land drop for Ziatora, so we'll kind of see what's going on. We do have Toxic Deluge, so if our opponent does decide to kind of extend out to this board state, we can hopefully kind of clear it up with Toxic Deluge. Maybe set it up to where we give them some extra treasure tokens and do that, so we'll see what they kind of assemble for the turn. But yeah, you know, we got your standard Jund stuff, and then we're using the random variable power and toughness of creatures to kind of power out that Ziatora, you know, deal that damage, however you want to say it. All right, so we've got the Prismatic Bridge on the battlefield with the Smothering Tithe. All right, so let's have some fun. Whenever I built Esika, I built Sultai Esika legendaries, and that was really cool. I enjoyed that. All right, so let's get we have the Smothering Tithe ability. I think at this point, I really want to get down either something like Consuming Blob or something along those lines. And that's going to cut us down on mana. All right, so we're not going to pay 2 on Smothering Tithe. I think we're going to be a little aggressive on this one. Let's go Sylvan Library, draw 2 additional cards. So we can dig deeper. That's going to be 2 more treasure tokens. I guess technically we don't need to dig deeper if we're going to do that. So we're going to click OK. That way we don't give them extra treasure tokens. So let's go and drop in the forest. And let's get the blobs going. I think that's going to work out. We want to have something for Ziatora to kind of sacrifice and get those treasure tokens going. So that way we can kind of start playing around the Smothering Tithe out there. So let's get down Consuming Blob. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass it. So with Consuming Blob, its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyards, and toughness is equal to that +1. Then at the beginning of your end step, create a green ooze creature token with basically the same thing. So we're going to have something to sacrifice with Ziatora. Not going to be the craziest damage that we're doing to our opponent at a 2-3, but in a world... Oh, goodness. That's Nicol Bolas territory right there. Okay, so that was the Prismatic Bridge into Nicol Bolas. Let's get our commander over here, see what's going on. So, draw a card, each opponent exiles a card, destroy target creature or planeswalker for a -3. And we'll see what they end up doing. With Nicol Bolas, if they go for the +1, that does keep us open on Hero's Downfall. And so that does allow us to get rid of that particular planeswalker, so we'll see what else they've got. But, alright, this is going to be Guruk entering the battlefield. So it looks like we're playing against the Esika Super Friends. We got the Wolf token... -3, so they have 2 options to get rid of our creatures. So they can -3 and -3 to get rid of both of our creatures. And that does kind of complicate it just a little bit. We'll see. All right, so they're going to go for the... and then with Nicol Bolas... Oh, yeah, it has the activated ability of all the... My goodness. All right, so we got Guruk. This is going to be popping our Consuming Blob token. And we've got Toxic. That can clean some of these tokens up. We've got Hero's Downfall for next turn. I think what we end up doing, I think we Hero's Downfall on Nicol Bolas. All right, so we're gonna get the Smothering Tithe trigger going, and yeah, let's see. All right, so we're not gonna pay 2 on that one because we just need to have as much mana as possible. All right, so we're not gonna pay for that treasure token. Get the Sylvan Library. They've got 3 cards in the hand. We're just gonna crack the seal on Smothering Tithe. Yes, let's dig deeper into our library. Let's go ahead and put. And I guess at this point, we just want to dig. So we're going to pay 4 life, pay 4 life. It's going to drop us down to 30. And we'll let them have those treasure tokens. That is A-OK right now. So not going to pay for that. Click no. Click OK. Click no. There we go. All right, so we go to our main phase. Let's get the land down for the turn. This is going to be Prismatic Vista. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 total mana. If we want to stop the wolf tokens, I think we end up going Hero's Downfall. So let's go Hero's Downfall on Nicol Bolas. That's going to be black, tap down black, and then tap down 1 more with Swamp. So we're going to get rid of Nicol Bolas. We're going to get rid of that added ability. And that leaves us into Ferocity of the Winds, which I think we're actually okay with. I think that'll work out. So we end up going for Ferocity. Yeah, I think we're good with that, because we're looking at some 2/2s. We get +1/+0 and gain trample. So we can actually go ahead and swing in at Gurick. Yeah, I like that. So let's go ahead and swing in at Gurick. We'll see if our opponent wants to stop it or not. This is going to be both wolf tokens. I think what will end up happening is that trigger will go on the stack. And yeah, that's still going to get rid of Gurick. Click OK. Yeah, so there's going to be no more creature out there. All right, so we do take care of both of our opponent's planeswalkers. And then we do have the Takinuma, which is going to be 4. So anything else, we will pass it over to our opponent. So we'll see what they end up having. Our opponent does have a lot of treasure tokens out there that we're ripping through with our Sylvan Library. Oh, that's going to be Oko. Okay, so when they go Oko, that's going to be +1. And then they got the food token. So we'll see if they decide to go with that. They could actually end up +1ing if they wanted to on one of their treasure tokens. As far as next turn goes, we're probably going to get down Ziatora. We do have Takinuma, which is going to allow us to bring a creature card from our graveyard. And so we're looking at 3/3 with Nighthawk. We're looking at Terravor sitting at a 3/3. We can actually end up cracking, oh goodness, that is going to be Ugin. So we could crack Wooded Foothills and Prismatic Vista to make Terravor a 5/5. And so that would give us an option to have a 5/5 beater out there, and that would be a +1/+0. And so we'll see what this Ugin's going to go for. One of the downsides to Ugin is if they go -X, they can go minus for 3. It looks like they're going to go, yeah, they're just going to go 3 damage up top. All right, I like that. And we'll see what else we can do. So we're looking at we're going to get 4/4 trample. So at least we can try to keep Ugin at bay with our Ooze token out there. And we have no haste option right now. That is just +1 in trample with ferocity. All right, so let's see what we draw into. That is going to be Forest. Not going to pay for Smothering Tithe. We got Sylvan Library. Yes, we're definitely going to use that ability. And that's going to be Leeches and then Catacomb. So let's go ahead and put Forest. Yeah, I think we just... we're going to dig on this one. Let's just be aggressive. We're just trying to see as many cards as possible. Not going to pay for Smothering Tithe. Not going to pay for Smothering Tithe. Okay. All right, so let's see what we rip into. Not rip into. Let's get the land down for the turn, I should say. And with Squelching Leeches, that's going to be a 3/3. I think I like getting down... If we go Takinuma, and that'll be Terravor for 3. So let's do that. So let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's do that. So let's go... Let's get the Lurgoyf out of the graveyard. So it's going to be 1, 2... And we'll get down Catacombs. And so let's go and we'll go and crack some of our lands too. So let's go Catacombs. Let's get ourselves some lands onto the battlefield. Let's grab Taiga Bucket. Let's go and grab Prismatic Vista. Let's go for Wooded Foothills. And let's grab ourselves Bayou. That way we're not paying any more life. All right, so let's go for Takinuma. That's going to be black. There we go. And we will have just enough for this. And then, so we're looking at Nighthawk. It's sitting at a 3/3, and then we can actually bring back Consuming Blob, but we can't get it down just yet. And then Terravor is going to be an 8/8. So let's just go and grab the Terravor. Let's get down Terravor. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. This is going to be an 8/8 with Trample. And let's go and push in at Ugin, I think. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. So let's go and push in at Ugin. Because that's going to drop Ugin down. That should be 5 coming across, and it's going to drop it down to 4. Yeah, so let's do that. So let's go and attack Ugin. That's going to be a 7/7 coming across. And you can see, you know, we are playing it Super Friends, and having a Planeswalker just dump onto the battlefield every single turn. That is kind of hard sometimes, but you can see what we're trying to go for in this actual deck. All right, it's going to be Entrapment Maneuver. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. You get some Soldier tokens. All right, we got Pocket Sanded. We're going to sacrifice the Ooze token, and that's going to be 7 Soldier tokens out there. All right, so our opponent's going to get it. Anything else, we've got 1 mana. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But you can definitely see this is what we're trying to do with Ziatora. Get a lot of these high power and toughness creatures. They're not the best early in the game, but as the game goes on, as the more creature types in the graveyard, you end up with some pretty high power and toughness creatures. And you can see where Ziatora... If we just get that down next turn, deals damage to any target, and we get 3 treasure tokens, that's going to allow us to start picking off some of these Planeswalker. I mean, we could almost, if we get another land in the graveyard, we could one-hit Ugin right now at a 9/9. So, all right, so opponent's going to swing in. We at least be able to stop 1 creature. And since they're going to send the Soldier tokens in, that's going to be 6. It's going to drop us down to 10. So we'll block on 1 creature. And so that'll still end up being 5 coming across. It drops us down to 11. And they're going to be able to cash in some card draw. My goodness, yes. All right, so get it on this one. So we're going to always yield to this trigger. And they do have, thankfully, they've pretty much cracked a lot of their treasure tokens. So we're only looking at fighting off 3 mana right now, because it's going to be 1, 2, and then 3 with the treasure tokens. All right, so opponent's going to turn Terravore into a 3/3 elk, which is perfectly fine. And then we'll see what else we can go for next turn. But 3 damage to us. It's going to drop us down to 8, which is going to put us at just enough for the Sylvan Library territory. So we'll see what we can assemble. We probably end up skipping Sylvan Library, and then that allows us to Toxic for... Oh, and they're going to bring back Entrapment Maneuver. All right, I like that. So they're going to bring that back. This is going to be a 3/3. Okay, we'll see what we can do. We're definitely not going to Sylvan Library. We do have the Toxic line that we can go for, and that will wipe the entire board. But the main thing is we're looking at an ultimate from Ugin next turn, which is something that does not sound that fun. All right, so we got Smothering Tithe, and we're not going to pay for the initial Smothering Tithe. We're going to skip on Sylvan Library because we do not want to draw more cards. Let's go and get down Dragon Skull Summit. So let's say we swing in with Terravore. I guess we can swing in with Terravore and just try to get in on Ugin. Or at the very least, we can Ziatora to sacrifice a creature. Yeah, let's push in with Terravore on Ugin, because we want to get that ultimate away, and maybe they just don't for some reason. Yeah, we're going to swing in at, make sure we're swinging in at Ugin. There we go. All right, so we're going to sit in the 4/3 at Ugin. That's going to take a pretty good chunk of their creatures. So if we can just at least get away from an ultimate, I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. All right, so we're going to see at least 3 tokens over there blocking, and that'll still allow us to get in 1 extra damage with the 4/3. All right, no, they will send in another creature. All right, so we'll see how we want to end up blocking on this one. I don't really think it matters. Let's click OK. And then that is still a 1/1. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how we kind of spread this damage out. That's going to clear all of them out. All right, so that's going to put a loyalty counter on each Gurk. There's no Gurks out there, so that doesn't really matter. We go to our main phase. We've already made the land drop. So we Toxic, that gets rid of them for 2. Or excuse me, we have to Toxic for 3. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, and that still gives us Ziatora on the battlefield. Yeah, we can give that a shot. So let's go Toxic for 3. So it's going to clear all of them out. They still have Entrapment Maneuver in the hand, which is something that we do need to keep in mind. So, all right, so let's go and drop, let's go Toxic Deluge, X is 3. So it's going to clear them out. We'll see what else they've got. They've only got available access to 2 mana. And then we'll be able to drop in Ziatora and then hopefully kind of stabilize. But yeah, as far as the creatures in this deck, let's get down Ziatora and I'll talk about some of the fun interactions that we do have. Make sure we tap down for enough colors because we want to make Ziatora happy. And that is a May ability with Ziatora. So there we go. All right, so we got Ziatora down. May do that. And that's going to be click OK and then pass the turn. So we also have stuff like Squelching Leeches in here. It's equal to the number of swamps you control. You can see where if we had Herborg out there right now, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, that'd be 8 power and toughness of Squelching Leeches. So, all right, opponent's going to go for the Ugin Ultimate. Let's see if we can survive on this one, see what's going to happen. And I'm not going to say good game to our opponent just yet, but it does, if you're keeping score at home, it does look like it's going to transition to, oh my goodness. Look at all that. So we got Oko, we got Kiora, we've got Gurk, Apex Predator, we've got Tameo coming down now. So yes, this is a very good showing from our opponent. Looks like they're probably going to get it on this one. The question is, can they deal enough damage right now to stop us? So they're going to turn Oko into, yeah, so they've really got Ziatora on lockdown right now. We've got the Ziatora as an elk token, Kiora just buffed it out, can't prevent all damage. They're going to tap down Chromatic Lantern with Tameo. We'll see, and they still got 7 cards in the hand and at least 8 or 9 mana. So, but yeah, this is what we're trying to do with the deck. We got a really good showcasing with Ziatora. Get a lot of these high power and toughness creatures out there. One of the main things is we are running some elementals in here, but if we just go heavy elementals, there's a lot of times where we kind of want these elementals on the battlefield whenever we have Ziatora down, and Ziatora is 6 mana, and so it's kind of, you're stuck in this weird spot where if you're just running a lot of those 2 and 3 drop elementals, they're either dead in the hand because you don't want to burn them just yet until Ziatora gets down. So I ended up opting for more just the variable stuff. But you can see consuming blobs at 6/7. Nighthawk's a 5/3. We've got Tarmogoyf in here. We also do have Altar of the Goyf in here. And Altar of the Goyf, if you don't know, is a 5-mana artifact. It's a tribal artifact. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X until end of turn, +X until end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. So basically, it's just like a Tarmogoyf buff, but it's 5 mana and you get it at the beginning of combat. So that's kind of a nice way to turn one of your base creatures into a really high impactful creature. All right, so let's see what we draw into for the turn. Return of the Wild Speaker. Not going to pay 2 for Smothering Tithe, and we will Sylvan Library, but we're not going to probably pay a lot of life on this one. All right, so we'll put Thran Dynamo on top of the library, Worldly Tutor on top of the library, and then we hold on to Return of the Wild Speaker. So we're not going to pay for Smothering Tithe. I don't think there's a way out of this one. So they swing in next turn. They've got the Ugin damage up top. Not going to pay for that. It is simply just an elk now. Let's make the land drop. So we do have Faithless Looting out of the graveyard. I'm not sure exactly what... Yeah, because we end up Faithless Looting. That's just going to be exactly what we just drew last turn. So Squelching Leeches. We've got Return of the Wild Speaker for a power and toughness bonus that we can deal some... That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got just enough for Speaker and Punch if we wanted to do that. But I just don't think... I just don't think we have a way out of this one. That's going to be 3 damage up top next turn. They swing in. We're not going to be able to stop the damage on the battlefield. Yeah, I don't think anything that we can do, we can get in on this one. So good game to our opponent. We're going to go and scoop it up on this one. But at least we got to kind of showcase what we're trying to do in a deck like this. You know, even something like with Ferocity of the Wilds, you know, having your non-human creatures get +1 and gain trample, that really does help out. You know, especially when you're running a lot of these variable power and toughness creatures and then trying to set up for that extra damage late in the game. But anyway, good game to our opponent. It's really nice to see a Super Friend deck go off like that. We had to play into a Smothering Tithe and never really, you know, not be conservative with that Smothering Tithe because we needed to do stuff because we were looking at planeswalkers coming down turn after turn. So even if we just play around Smothering Tithe the entire time, that just mana, you know, that taxes a lot of our mana, and we're just kind of in a rough spot. So anyway, good game to our opponent. It's fun to see that, and glad we get to see some of these creatures out there. And if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.